Once again, welcome back to Plot. Okay, right, well, good afternoon everybody. Once again, welcome back to Plot. I know I've been missing for a couple of weeks, but unfortunate. I seem to have damaged my back a couple of weeks ago in the garden, and I've been in agony since then, so I haven't getting really a great deal done up there. Not as much as what I'd like to, but I'm going to try and catch up today. I've had a few x-rays there, see if I can get to the bottom of the problem, but nothing yet. But I'm just going to, as normal, just going to plod on and try and get there. We've had that many setbacks this season, from the storms and one thing and another. It's the last thing I needed. So I'm starting the video from home, you know, all the regular viewers. I'm down home literally by 6, and of course I've been just checking up on my produce, and they're absolutely fantastic. Lovely tomatoes, and of course these are the money maker. I've got some really nice ones up on the plot. I've got the Shirley up there, I've got the large orange, I've got the giant Spanish, I've got cherry. I've got quite a few little varieties, but I like the old money maker. I never go past growing these, and that's such an easy crop to grow. But that's what I want to concentrate on today. As you know, I make my 3-to-1 mix, and that's what these are in. They've had no feed until last week, until the fruit started ripening, and that's when I start feeding mine. I know you should really start to feed them when the flowers, when your small fruits come on, but I look at my plants and I think to myself, well, they're lovely, they're strong, they're healthy, they're growing because I've got a 3-to-1 mix, a nice big pot, they're nice and deep, and they're feeding really well. But this is the time of year when I start to check them, and little blotches of yellowing on the leaves. It's time to give them a blast of magnesium. And of course the easiest way of doing that is the old Epsom salts. And all it needs is just a teaspoon. You can sprinkle it in your pot around, wash it in, or you can add it to your watering can and water it that way. Now, as I say, Epsom salts is a fantastic feed for the pots, a foliar feed for your peppers and your chilies. It's absolutely marvellous. But it's getting the magnesium in for your tomatoes because, as I say, it's a great deterrent for people suffering with blossom end rot. If it hasn't got a magnesium in, a lot of people will say, well, blossom end rot contributes to the water, how you're watering, infrequent watering. Yes, it is. I'm a great believer in that. But also, a magnesium deficiency can help it along. You know, if your plants are struggling, it's like anything. If it's sick, it's going to get all sorts of bugs and all sorts of diseases hiding it. So prevention is, as you know, really better than cure. So I'll be starting this week. As I say, first week in July, my fruits are well set. I like to go around them, and one of the things I always do it every year. I keep telling you, get your trusses. Now there's 7 fantastic tomatoes on that truss alone, but there is a few little immature ones on there, and I just take my scissors and my secateurs and just nip them off. And what we have there, just them little tomatoes there. They're not going to do any good, they're not going to grow anywhere. So cut them off, and then you've got your first class little piece there, and then you've got a first class truss there, and of course they're ripening just nice. I've had some beauties off here this morning. As I say, I've already done this truss up height here. Just nipped off a few of the small ones. Been absolutely great. But as I say, I've got a 3-to-1 mix in my pots. If you follow us early on in the season, I'll show you how to make a pot. I've just made a big mix up this weekend. Sunday gone. Just as well, I had Big John from up the path and his son, young John, come down to load all the stuff into the cement mixer for us. The peat, homemade compost out of the compost bins, sharp sand, and of course a couple handfuls of bone meal. And that's my 3-to-1 mix. I use it for everything, and that's what's in these big pots, and that contributes to the well-being of the plant and keeps it fed right through until it needs it. Now if you want to start feeding now, I use a comfrey tea, or you can use a horse manure tea, just your ordinary bag of horse manure inside of an onion bag, and douse it in the water, let it hang in the water, get a nice brown tea out of that, feed them with that. If you don't want to go down the road of buying stuff from the shops, you come right into, I never bother with anything like that. As I say, if I can get away with making my own stuff, I'll do it. And one of the things I'll be doing this afternoon is mixing and loading this up. Once I put a spoonful around these, I mean a spoonful a week, until your plants really pick up. If you see any yellowing on the leaves, a lot of people will put that down to nitrogen deficiency, so just don't be careful you don't get it too mixed up. As I say, a magnesium deficiency. Although the plants look healthy enough, I don't take any chances. So, like I say, I'll give them a teaspoon, level teaspoon, right on the pot. And then tonight, when the sun goes down, there's no chance that it's blown a hole out there. I had a lot of rain this morning, and I'll get that a good watering in, and that's a tomato set. Now the other thing I want to do, I've been sitting down because as I say, my back's not too grand, so I've got my little stool in here, and quite handy. Oh yeah, I want to show you if I can just ease it along this bench here. There's one of my peppers. Absolutely fantastic. These are the block peppers. I'll put that back down again. Once again, they're in the big black pots and they're in 3-2-1 mix. Now you might think they look healthy enough. They do. They're fantastic. They're lovely dark. They're green. The fruits are setting really well. And they've had absolutely no feed whatsoever. All I've had is a 3-2-1 mix. I do add a little bit of manure at the bottom of the pots when I first plant the peppers up, and then it's 3-2-1 mix all the way from there, and that's all they get. They've been watered since April, since I potted them in, and there we have it. I've got a first class plant with some lovely fruit on. But once again, don't take your eye off the ball. Your plants might look healthy, but your peppers will love this. And of course, lukewarm water, a teaspoon of Epsom salts in your water, and don't forget your washing up liquid. Couple of good drops of washing up liquid, and what that'll do, without spraying on the camera, get the foliage a really good soaking. It's taking that magnesium in. It's giving the plant a boost. Going to take on a nice green luster. Although they're already looking really good, really healthy. As I say, I don't like to take my eye off the ball. I don't like to see plants suffering. When they're piling on the fruits like this, I want to start feeding them. Once again, you can have a comfrey tea, you can have a manure tea. They'll get a good soaking, or I can put a spoonful of that around the bottom of the pot. What I like to do with the peppers and the chilies, I like to give them a good soaking. Aphids love these. I don't know why. For some reason, they just love peppers. They love chilies. So what I like to do is put a bit of soapy water in with the Epsom salts and give them a good soaking. And of course, the soapy water, it's helping the mix adhere to the plants. It's sticking to the leaves. Them leaves are going to take it in. Going to take all that goodness in, and they're going to be blooming within a few weeks. So there's plenty of flowers on the top. There's plenty of fruit sitting underneath. So now, as I say, it's time to start feeding. Crack on. But I'm over the moon with them. I've got a cucumber. See, I've had 2 cucumbers plants in the greenhouse, and they're absolutely romping away. Some lovely, nice big fruits. In fact, I can take that one off. It's absolutely festooned with fruit. So here's another one off. But I've got lettuces in the back. Been munching on salads for the last fortnight. When the sun comes out, that is, me and the wife. But there's some great crops. I'm over the moon with the tomatoes. I'm over the moon with the peppers. The Jap onions I wanted to start on today, but unfortunately we had some heavy rain this morning, so the garden's going to be a bit wet. But what I will do is when I get up the plot, if it dries out a little bit, I might start on the Jap onions, because they need lifting before they start rotting off, and they need tying and they need hanging. Now I've got lots to do up there. As I say, I can't do much bending, but what I can start on this afternoon, I've got a load of seed to start sowing. I've got start sowing the spring flowering pansies, the Bellis daisies, all sorts to do. Delphiniums, foxgloves, you can sow all them now. If you want a later crop, if you want a later plant for planting out in back in the autumn, or you can overwinter them in a cold greenhouse, which is what I'll be doing. Or you can plant them out, like I say, back in September for flowering next year. But I'll be doing all that once we get up the garden. We'll have a look around. I'll show you the tomatoes up there, the difference in the tomatoes compared to down here. As you know, I had my little heater on, and it's not a big heater. It just makes sure the temperature doesn't drop below 50 in here. 45 to 50, I'm quite happy with that. And it just shows you the difference in the tomatoes from up the plot. There's about a 3-week difference. There's some of them just starting on the turn there. As I say, the Shirley tomatoes are doing great. They're piling on the pounds, and the Moneymaker and the Giant Orange have got some really nice fruits coming on, but are about 3 weeks behind. But I'm quite happy to crop them from down here, the first ones. And what a difference! Taste is just unbelievable. The way I bought some from the supermarket the other week, and they were as hard as the hobs of hell, rock hard and no taste, typical. So I thought, no more, we'll wait until we get our own. And of course we've been eating our own for the last fortnight now, and what a difference. Absolutely beautiful. And it's all worthwhile. Put your time and effort in a few plants, and this is what you get from them. So that's my little tip for this week for you. Get your Epsom salts out. As I say, magnesium, you need it. You need it in your tomatoes, and you definitely need it in your peppers. If you're growing peppers and chilies, get it in. Either put it around the pot, whatever you got them in, your grow bags, or like me, put in a spray. Don't forget your washing up liquid. Give them a really good spraying with that. You can do it 2 or 3 times a week. If it's just a level teaspoon in a litre bottle, lukewarm water, just let it cool down, let it come down to room temperature, and then, as I say, if you put it in warm water, it dissolves a lot easier. Once you put your washing up liquid in, emulsifies it, and you get a great little mix, and it just hangs onto the leaves, and of course them leaves are just going to take all that goodness in. Right, so speaking of sprays, I'll get myself back up home, upstairs, and a cup of tea. I'm going to have my tea before I go out. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, so I've got about another hour. I'll have a bite to eat, and then we'll get myself away up the plot. But don't forget your sprays, because what I will be doing is making a cup of chamomile tea up. I'll boil the tea bag down when I'm upstairs, pop that in the spray, and before I start any sowing this afternoon, we'll give them a good soak with chamomile tea. You know me, you know the sprays I use, and I'm never without it. As I say, chamomile tea is a great thing to keep with any diseases. It's worked for me for years, so it's one of them things I stick to every year without fail. So we'll get some seeds sorted out. I took some bags of compost up yesterday, just multi-purpose compost, just ordinary. This is for seed sowing. As I say, the beginning of the year when I'm sowing the likes of dahlias, marigold, big seed like that, I'll use my compost, my 3-2-1 mixture, because once the seeds start growing, nice big seeds, you can see them. You'll get a lot of weeds growing in amongst it, but you just pull your weeds out. Once you know your weeds from the seeds, easy enough to do. But for these seeds, I'm sowing in the autumn, the pansy, polyanthus, primulas, all that. I just like to have a nice clean compost, weed free. So we'll sow them this afternoon, and of course we'll take up our chamomile tea, and we'll get some seeds put in, and I'll show you a few little bits and pieces while we're up there. Okay, I've been potting up some grapevines, so that's one little job of getting out of the way. They were really healthy root cuttings I took last year, and of course I might do a little bit of pruning on the vines or on the bunches. We're going to start exactly the same as what we do with tomatoes, thin and down. Start thinning the bunches down. There's a cracking crop on there at the moment. So once again, with the grapes, we'll start feeding them, and hopefully they'll swell them fruits out, and we're going to crack and crop the end of the year. Okay, so I'll see you up the plot. Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, welcome back to the plot. It's just turned noon up here in the northeast, and it's absolutely big. And I've just gotten up into the polytunnel, and of course a few of the jobs I wanted to do today was address the grapes, but it's far too hot today, so I'm going to do a quick bunch here, and then I'm going to get up there at the top of a 100-foot greenhouse and maybe get a few seeds sown. Grapes have been growing fantastic over the last couple of weeks, well fed, well watered, and of course I managed to get right throughout the grapevine, prune it all back. As I say, you've got to keep going back and back and back week after week, because you'll get side shoots, like say there, side shoots popping up all over, trying to make some growth. And of course the main issue that is addressing the bunches herself. I know it's a fiddly job, but it's a job that needs to be done if you want a first class crop of grapes. As you can see, the bunches there, it's absolutely beautiful. But when you go through them, you'll always find a few little immature ones. Now I've got a little pair of snips that I use, and unfortunately I can't find them. I've put them down somewhere and I can't find them. And all you got to do is just, so I've got a nice sharp pair of scissors here with small beaks, and it takes about 5 minutes just to work your way through cutting off these little immature grapes that aren't going to do anything. There's a little one there, pop that one off. There's a couple of small ones on the bottom there, we'll just nip them out. And what it's doing, it's opening up your bunch, opening the bunches up, letting the fresh air through, and of course it's going to let the other grapes expand. You can spend as long or as little time on it as you've got to spare. I normally do when I'm in the mood for it, I normally do a couple of bunches a day. As I say, it'll probably take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes maximum just to do one bunch. You don't have to do it all at once. You can work your way around. As it says, there's quite a few immature ones on that one there, so I've cut them all out. You can see them as I'm cutting them down. Get them cut out, because they're not going to expand any more than what they are. And at the end of the day, they'll probably spoil your bunch, because if they start rotting off early, what you'll end up with is bitrus throughout your bunch, and that's what you don't want. Oh, spiders all over the shop, there's millions of them. But as I say, you can just spend 5-10 minutes working your way through them, cut little ones out, and it just makes the bunch look a lot more attractive. As I say, you don't have to do it all in one go. You can come back next week and just check the bunch again. If there is any starting to rot off, or small ones still there, you can go back with this. It's all about spending a bit of time on your grapes. See, that's looking pretty good there now. I'm getting most of the small ones out, and that's just one bunch. There's a couple on that one there. I'm going to knock them out. A couple on there. As I say, you just twist the bunch around. Ideally, if you've got yourself a little wooden stick, a little V shape, you can stick it in there, and you can just guide your bunch wherever you need to be with your scissors. But for this morning, I just thought, get the fingers out, get the fingers working. Bugger the arthritis, just crack on. See, I've had a few problems with my back, but I find if I'm standing up, it's not too painful. So this is one of the jobs I've assigned myself today, is to get a few of these bunches done, and you will end up with a much better crop. You can see by that bunch here now, it's well opened up. I've cut all them little immature ones out, put them on the top there, and I've been going at it for a couple of minutes, and already the bunch is looking much better than what it was before. As I say, you will get bitrus in it if you leave these little immature ones on. They'll just rot off, dry off, crisp up, and it's just another chance of getting diseases into it. I don't like to touch your grapes if I can get away with it. That's why using a little stick is better for you, and you can just guide the grape bunch to where you need it. That's fantastic. That's great. There's still a couple more on that one there, but you see, I don't like to touch your grapes if I can get away with it. They've got their own little bit of protection on their own wax on the grapes that keeps them nice and clean, and just by handling them, you've got a chance of removing it. But that's much better. Take that leaf out. As I say, there's a wayward cutting up there. take that one out. That's side shoot. That's just off when I cut them back last week. Side shoot's already romping away, but there we have it. I can just get my finger in there and I can just move them bunches across, and you can see just where I've been working. Still a couple of small ones on that one. I'm off, part the bunch away. If that really tight, you can go in amongst the bigger grapes and cut some of the bigger ones off. Now that's a lovely little bunch. That it's all in one, so I'm just going to leave that part on. Just take them couple off there, and now I'm happy with that. That bunch is absolutely perfect. And now them grapes can fatten out, and you get a much better crop. As you can see, I've probably spent 5 minutes on that. There's bunches all over here that I really need to start going through, but it's not going to be today. I'll do it on a day when we've got a bit cloud cover and it's a little bit cooler in here. I come up last night, but when I started the video off, it was lovely down home. It was a bit windy, but it was inside my own little greenhouse, and when I got up here, the polythene and that was flapping around with the wind, and it just makes it impossible to do any recording, any videoing. It just affects the sound so badly, so I thought I'd leave it till the day. But it's a better day today. We're focused for fine weather for the next 4 or 5 days, so priority now is watering. As I say, I've got the Epsom salts out. I've done all my tomatoes down home and tend doing them all up here in the allotment, and there's loads of them up here. So I have to go around them all. I can either put a spoonful around each plant, or I can just whack a load in the watering cans and give them a good soaking of that. But that'll help them to no end. And of course the grapes, give them a prune back, start feeding them. I've got plenty of comfrey in the water here. I've got nettle juice in the water. I can give them either one, and they'll thrive on that. There's plenty of horse manure in the soil, so they're getting a good feed, and I can always go back with a liquid feed later on if need be. But looking at these now, absolutely marvellous. I'm over the moon them, growing great. Hopefully we'll get some nice grapes for end of the season. But I'll leave it for now. As I say, get yourself a good pair of snips and just work your way around the bunches. You don't have to do them all in one day. You can just take your time. You don't want to sicken yourself. As I say, it's one of them jobs that must be done, because if you don't do it, you're going to end up with bite rust. You're going to end up with rotten fruit on them, bunching up together. And it's best to just open them up and let the air in. The sooner I get on from here, the better. The spiders are attacking us. But the sooner you get the bunches opened up, the sooner you get to start fattening up, and you get a much better crop. Okay, well, we'll leave it for now, and we'll get myself up the top of the 100-foot greenhouse, and I'm going to start putting some seed in. Okay, right. Well, change of places. A little bit cooler up here. We're in the end of the 100-foot greenhouse, and of course the polythene that's been on for a couple of years now, that's starting to deteriorate. It's reinforced what they use on the scaffolding, and of course all the polythene is starting to drop out, and all we're left with is the plastic netting. But it's going to have to do for now, because at the end of the year this part of the greenhouse comes down. It needs rebuilding. It's well overdated. It's been up for 25 years now, so it owes with nothing. But it's a lot cooler up here, and it means I can work a little bit more comfortable up here. Well, that was one of the jobs I done yesterday. These were the grapevine cuttings I took last November, and of course they're fantastic. They're rooted well into the pots, and so I potted them up yesterday. Got myself a little bit mix made up, 3-2-1 mix as usual, and that's what they're in, and they can sit now well until the summer. I know Andy Wilson's been after one up in Shire Moor and Jane's allotment, so there you are, Andy. There's a nice black grape for you when you get round with it. I'll take it down home with us, and you can pick it up from my house, not a problem. Well, you see, that was one job I had to get out the road, get them grapes out. I was afternoon what I want to concentrate on is getting some seed in. I've had these for weeks now, and I should have made a start at the end of June, middle of June, end of June. But this time, July, it's fantastic. They'll get put in here because there's plenty of fresh air, and they'll just sit up on the benches. The only trouble is the rain drops through here, so I'm going to have to be careful. I don't want to have too much water dropping onto the trays. I might have to make up some sort of bit of polythene along the front here. I don't mind the fresh air coming in, but the last thing I want is these getting soaked. I've already done it. I've already done one tray, just a standard seed tray, and you know how I like to do mine. Completely soaking it the day before. They were just sitting on the benches yet, and I tipped a whole water can of fresh water. I never use water out of the butts when I'm doing seedlings, when I'm doing seed sowings. Never do it. Always use nice fresh water. That way you don't get any diseases. And what I've also got, I made it up last night, is a chamomile tea. Just an ordinary chamomile tea bag. And I put it in a litre of water, and that's fine. And you'll get a soaking with that. I've got umpteen seeds to get sown this next week or two. I've got the Bellis daisy, I've got the wallflower, I've got the sweet William, I've got the calendula, aubrietia, there's lots, echinacea, there's lots can be sown now. If you want to overwinter them, or if you want to plant them out in September, October, you should have decent enough plants then. It'll overwinter and you'll get a first class perennial plant for next year. As I say, the Bellis and the wallflower, I like to pull mine out every year. I don't like them. Sometimes I let them go for 2 years after I get a bit worried. But I like to, it's so easy to buy a packet of seed, and of course it's so easy to sow them. And this is how I like to get my plants on the go. So we'll start off with the Bellis. It's a Goliath mix. Get your seed packet, Mr. Fothergill's, used them for quite a while. DT Brown, King seeds, absolutely marvellous. Always send away for a nice good seed. You can get some nice seed in the shops, the supermarkets and whatnot, but for the autumn sowings I always like to send away for mine. And of course your packet, it's unbelievable amount of information it puts on there for you. And so it's you can't go wrong with it. And of course the first signs of getting good seedlings is really good compost. As I say, I use my multi-purpose compost only in these trays, and I well soaked them yesterday, and all I use is a little piece of bamboo, same length as a tray, and I just lightly press it in, once in the middle and 2 on the sides. Just press them in, there we have it, and you should have on your tray is 3 depressions, 3 lines. It's so easy to sow your seed. Of course, not only for sowing them, it's for when you start pricking them out. You've got a nice line of seedlings. Now I never pick mine out singly. I always put them 2s and 3s, nice little clumps, and I think that way you get a nice better plant for planting out. You know, I'm not greedy. You see, I don't like singly sown. You can't do it, but the likes of wallflower and that, you get that many seeds in, and they're so easy to sow. There we have it. And the Bellis are a nice light seed, a nice light brown, so you can turn your tree around so your lines are facing that way. If you've got to put your glasses on, fair enough. But I can get away with this because they're a nice light seed. And just by tapping the packet, the seeds will start dropping out exactly where I want them. And just take your time, go along the row. You can see the row easy enough, made with your stick. Got 2 rows. And that's 3 rows, and then go back along the row again. Any spaces you've missed that you cannot see seed on, backwards and forwards. And I like to put a packet, I like to put a full packet in each tray. And so you've got a really good, just play around with that packet because you tend to get a few sticking in them. Where's the packet gone? As I say, if you read a packet and down in the bottom, it'll give you an idea of, usually tells you how many seeds you've got, and different people have it on different parts of their different. I've got another one there, and it'll probably tell you. I can never find, there we are, 100 seed on the bottom there, approximately 100 seed, somewhere 150, 120, depends on where you go, but 100 seed in there, it's fine for me. So I've got there, there's 3 rows, 3 perfect rows, all nicely sown. It's so easy as that. And of course with some seeds, you check your packet once again, you'll get some that don't like to be prohibited from the light, so you'll not put any covering on at all. You'll just sow them on a damp compost, just gently firm them down into the compost and leave them spraying. And this is where your chamomile comes in. Don't forget, go along them rows and get them a really good soaking. It's really good compost, this, so there shouldn't be any diseases in it, but as I never take a chance. I've used chamomile for years, and it's always did a good protection for my seedlings. And then once I've got that done, I've got a little bit of multi-purpose compost here with plenty of added perlite, and it gives you all the drainage you need. And with a couple of handfuls, you can just gently go along the row and put a very light covering over them seeds. That's all you want. You don't want a heavy covering. And of course, the perlite is going to act as let the air through. It's going to lighten up that compost. A few little bits of rubbish in with it, but there we have it. Right there. Let's take a seed along and just go along that stick. Make sure everything's nice and level. We don't need to water that in because the compost was well watered yesterday. It was well soaked, and there we have it. All I need now is a label. I'll find my pen, stick a label in, and that's my first tray done. And that's my first tray of Bellis Daisy. I've got about 3 packets to sow. So that's 3 trayfuls of Bellis Daisy. And I say once they start coming through, they'll go up on the shelf here, nice and cool. As long as they don't get any rain, I'm going to have to try and sort some polythene out to put on top of them. I know it's going to be fine for the next 4 days, but I don't like taking a chance. If it pours down rain through the night, they're going to get soaked, and that's the last thing I want. And they're well soaked yesterday, nice and damp, so the seeds are in. All I want now is a bit of heat, and it should be fine enough here to start the germination off. And within a couple of weeks, they'll start coming through, and then we'll keep you posted once they start pricking off into individual pots. And you'll have a first-class plant ready for September, October, for planting out in your garden. And what I like to do with some of mine, I pot them up in a bigger pot, a 9cm pot, and I overwinter them in the cold polytunnels up on the benches there. Nice fresh air, plenty of breeze coming through, and then by the springtime you've got a lovely big plant, and you can just plant that in, and you're guaranteed plant in March, early April, and it'll be well in bloom for right through May, June, and into July. And that's the idea of them. Great plants, so easy to grow. Wallflowers, I'll be putting the wallflowers in exactly the same way. I'll be pricking them off exactly the same as what I do with them. The Sweet William, they'll go in. Always like to have a few Sweet William in. The Primula will be a bit different. I like to transplant these into single pots, and the Polyanthus, they'll go into single pots. But as I say, majority of these will be pricked off into little bunches, and they'll be great. I've still got radishes and everything here. That should have been sown last month. I've got the winter cabbage here. That should be going in today, so I'm going to have to make a point of getting some seeds sorted out. I'm way behind this year, but as I say, with health problems and of course the garden being trying to pick up on, we're a little bit behind this year. We're about 3 or 4 weeks behind on what we were last year. Some fantastic blooms of fuchsias and that down there in the greenhouses, and the tomatoes are really ramping up. They're great. Plenty of nice big tomatoes on. I'm going to have to go around, as I say, with the Epsom salts and give them a good feed of that. And then, as I say, there's none ripening off up here yet. I've got some nice ripe ones down home, and I'm quite happy to feast off them for the next few weeks until these are ready up here. But that's it for the day, or for the video this week anyway. As I say, hopefully next week I'll get back on to you. We'll get these Jap onions sorted out. It's a must. I've managed to get 2 rows pulled up, but the trouble is you've got to get them cleaned off, dried out, and hung up. I've got about half a row still left, so what I might do, I might start me next week's video off on the Jap onions, and then we'll have a little look around the garden, and then we'll come back in and we'll do any more sowing that needs to be done, or any potting off that needs to be done, and we'll just keep you updated as the season progresses. Our sweet corns are doing good. They're romping away, so we'll give you a little tour around the plot next week, and we'll let you know how we're doing. Okay, so until next week, enjoy your plots. If you can't wait for the video, you know where to catch me. It's Jeff Foreman on the plot. get one on my Facebook page. It's a send with friends request, and we'll get you signed up. I'm on most nights. It's just the last couple of weeks that with feeling a little bit poorly, I haven't getting on as much where I like. But if I see anything popping up, I'll always message you or I'll always answer you. And as I say, post what you want on the plot. Some of your pictures. We haven't seen any for a while, so let me know how your crops are coming on. And it's always nice to know how other people are doing. So I'll catch up with you next week anyway. Okay, so bye for now.